Hello, Bee Culture readers. Normally I'm out in the field somewhere here in the backyard doing something like that, but this time for the first time ever, I've got a cohort here. He is Editor Kim. He's the one that I sent everything to. And with this issue, with the November issue, he may be hanging up part of his bee helmet and letting his smoker go out to an extent. Kim, say something.
Well, it's good to be here, Jim. Thank you. I've let my smoker go out so many times when I shouldn't. It probably will happen anyway, but I'm going to try and not let it go out completely.
Well, what I was going to say is that it's time to relight smokers.
Well, there you go. I like
Because
that.
I've been through this. It's a damnable phase of life where you're retired and now you say you're going through it. But I've learned to say that I'm unemployed because I do what I can do. Don't have the output I used to have. So what I covered in the article, Kim, was you as a young guy, me as a young guy, energy to squander, reminisced for a while, went through the car wreck, discussed all these things, and got to this point of all these long years that we've had together. So I'm not trying to be a investigative reporter, but what's going to happen to you? You're in what appears to be an office there.
I am. I'm sitting in, I have a 3-bedroom house, and 2 of the bedrooms are bedrooms, and one of them is an office. And this one was an office for a long time, and then it wasn't. And now it's back to we're getting it into shape to be an office again. And this is where I'll be sitting rather than in that corner office at the root company. This is a little more informal and closer to the kitchen. So I don't mind it
In
at
the
all.
bathroom.
Well, there's that. You just brought up something that I just got to mention this before I forget it. You mentioned the car wreck. And to this day, I don't know how long ago that was, but for those who weren't there, we were on a 4-lane highway with a dividing strip, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was a median.
And somebody came across, and I was sitting in the passenger seat, and I had a cup of coffee in my hand, and I saw that car coming, and I saw this, to this day, what I remember about that accident was, damn, I'm going to spill my coffee. The coffee cup ended up in the back seat, most of it on me. You got banged up, I got shaken up, but I still remember, damn, I'm going to spill my coffee.
Well, my thought was, oh my stars, that car, that Chrysler emblem should not be right there below my mirror. This is very bad. How can you have time to have so many thoughts in just a millisecond? And it was just a picture of a Chrysler emblem right at my arm, right under the rear view mirror. And then the next picture was a ditch. And then from that point, you kind of come back. I think I said in the article, I couldn't tell you who the president was. I couldn't tell you what day it was. And all the racket in the car, the hissing and the steaming, but we're fine. That, Kim, that may be why it took us about 50 minutes for you and me to make this system work today. Maybe we're not fine at all, and we just never were really discovered. I don't know.
Nice of people not to tell us.
And then you came up with Jim and Kim, which is maybe on hiatus, maybe not. We don't know yet. A lot of transitions going on. But that was terrifying. So sometimes it worked and we did okay. Other times it was terrifying, and we were allowing our audience to pick up on the terror of the moment. Why isn't this working? Where's our whatever?
Well, you're right. We've been through the transition here. We've been trying to figure out who's going to do what, where, when, and why. But it looks like the Kim and Jim show is going to go on just as it was. We've had a hiatus, and you got a vacation, and I've been traveling, and you've been traveling. But I think right after the first of the month, we'll put our heads together and see. I've been talking to some people about places to visit and things to do. And I'm not going to France, but I think we can.
I don't think I'll make it back either, because that was a lot of fun though, and I'm
I
gonna
bet it
write about
was.
that sometime. I've never toured a factory like that before, but I shouldn't say much now because it's the wrong place. But I got to tour a company that manufactures a very common component of our bee industry right now. More about that later. Well, I didn't know we'd still be in business. That's a good thing. I
Well, the
started,
other,
as you remember, I started taking a desperate yellow tablet, couple of 3 pieces of paper and a picture stuck to it, and literally slipping it under your door up there at your office to use it in the magazine next month.
oh, those were the
And the
days.
frustrating thing is it'd be in the magazine next month, and now you require a couple of months ahead of time, and you've got all these computers and technology. But I wish I had one of those drafts back, but they were just a temporary transfer medium to somebody put it in. All I really wanted to do on this Big Culture Viewers was just reminisce for a minute, since I was writing about Kim and his special feature. What do you call the magazine, Kim, with all these discussions of other beekeepers and scientists and whatever? Do you have a name for the collective group of people that are being interviewed?
Oh, you mean for the December issue or interview issue?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've always called it the interview issue, and I don't group the people who are being interviewed together other than they are all in the same place at the same time. We've got a good one this month. We've got some neat people, Jerry Bromanshank and a bunch of other people. I think it's going to be fun.
Well, I got to tell you, we're winding down, but I got to tell you that I wrote for the magazine when when you were here, and it was on newspaper stock. And the first one I wrote for it was about Africanized bees, and it wasn't even in color. I put the masthead in the article.
Wow.
So it's really, it's an impressive magazine. The others are too. Everybody looks good. The bee supply catalogs, it's a wholesome bee industry right now, but bee culture is right there in the thick of it. You've kept it right in the front of the race the whole way through.
Well, the first issue I did, the first one you and I did together was 48 pages and 10 pages of ads. And this one is 100 pages with 40 pages of ads. So that kind of tells you the growth.
Well, you got a staff there with you, and I readily admit that Kathy, your co-worker, co-editor, what is her position title?
Much better half.
Much better half.
Yes.
That works too. I have to say though that she's right there in the thick of it, boy.
Yep.
She's keeping her powder as dry as you are. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 12 times an a magazine comes out. I can't even get an article written for you. And you guys are publishing a magazine every month.
Well, don't forget the other 4 we do too. We do 16 a year. You know, we do the quarterly now.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So we've gone from 12 to 16, and
well, as long as we're taking from you and giving to others, you've also got a very dependable staff there too that keeps everything going along.
Yeah, we do. We got a couple people that have been there a long time, and we've got a third position that we just can't keep a handle on, and that's one of the issues that makes all the rest of us scramble. Is we got work for 3 and only 2 people doing it, and unemployment in Ohio is almost 0, or at least this part of Ohio, and it's hard to find people, and then when you find people, it's harder to find good people, and that's been kind of an ongoing struggle for us, which makes, you know, a 40-hour week, a 50-hour week. But
well, there you go. You just can't take away from the old people. They were rock solid, knew what they were doing, and here we are, all fading, riding into the bee sunset in a cloud of dying smoke.
Oh, there's a vision.
I just wanted to say hi to you for a while. It made no sense to do a little clip at the end when you're just 26 miles up the road. And it's ironic that as old as we are, we've been trying to play with this technology. It's like teasing a poisonous snake. but it kept me entertained. I hope it kept you entertained too. So we're not going away. We're just going to go somewhere else.
Well,
Yeah,
you gave me a minute to say where I'm going.
yeah, I was going to ask if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, one of what we're doing this is on making this recording is a program called Zoom, and it's a webinar series for a small number of people usually. And if you've seen or read or been looking at all of the stuff that we do, I'm also involved in doing a podcast on a regular basis, beekeepingtodaypodcast.com, with a guy named Jeff Ott, who used to live here in Medina,
Yeah.
now lives out in Washington. And Jeff and I are looking to expand that podcast significantly over the next few months, not just beekeeping, but we're looking at the whole agriculture industry, because there really isn't a lot of podcast information for the agriculture people. It's probably because of technology, but right now you can sit in a corn picker that's air conditioned with a radio and headset on, and so instead of a radio, you can be listening to a podcast about the corn industry. That's what we hope, anyway. So that's one of the things we're looking at do. I'm looking at doing, and don't be surprised if we come knocking on your door one day too. Again,
I'll be happy to. You know, I'm always full of it. So just give me a topic and I'll give you whatever it takes.
Okay.
Hey, buddy, I enjoyed talking to you.
All right.
Here's to the first 71, 72. And I have no doubt that we're good for another 71 or 72 years, whatever it takes. As long as,
okay.
as long as we can get aftermarket parts and heart valves, whatever it takes, we'll still maintain high compression and output.
Yep. All right.
I'm going to see if this possibly recorded. If it didn't, it was a nice conversation you and I had, Jim. All right. You can go back to sleep now.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Take care.
Bye.